Dear friends, good evening. Please give me some feedback whether you can see and hear me. I see tens and pluses. Someone says loud and clear. Good. So since I can see tens, then traditionally it means we have a good connectivity. So now we can start for real. It's Thursday, the 19th of December. So it's high time we had a live broadcast. We have quite a lot of participants. We have at least 130 people in the Russian room. So this is a very good indicator. So I'm very glad to be here with you today. We haven't had live broadcasts in a while, and I started missing you. I hope you've started missing our live broadcasts and news that has been published since our last meeting in the area of string transportation technology and crowd investing. So let's do our roll call. So what countries and cities you are from? Please tell me in the chat. Someone wrote me, I like your meetings. Thank you very much for your feedback. Please, let's be active. Let's see what cities we have guests from. Novosibirsk, Irkutsk, Almaty, Latvia, Kaliningrad, Israel, Gelendzhik, Russia, again, UK, London, Moldova, Tbilisi, Georgia, Khimki, Alipur, I guess it's India, Varda, Maharashtra. Then we have Kazakhstan. Then we have again an Indian city. I will not dare read it out because I don't want to make a mistake. Sorry for that. It's Lumbini. Well, it's India. Thanks for your feedback. As usual, we have a lot of guests from India. We have a lot of partners from India working for the benefit of this technology. We have Turkey, we have Taraz, Kazakhstan, Bokaro, Jharkhand, Andaman and Nicobar, India. So the Czech Republic, thank you very much for your feedback. Well, it's a clear sign that our crowd investing community covers the entire world. And surely the only continent we don't have investors from is Antarctica. Otherwise, we have co-owners in the string transportation technology across the entire planet. Well done. Congratulations. And let's have this meeting. Hopefully, we will fit it into 1 hour. We have three main bullet points that I wanted to discuss with you today. Also, I wanted to express my opinion regarding the previous news. And this is the first thing on the agenda. Then we will talk about one of the key pieces of news of the month, or I would say even the key news of the passing year. We will dwell on it separately, and then at the end of the meeting, for every current investor and future investor into the string transportation technology, we have in store a very, very pleasant piece of news that I will cover at the end. So traditionally, the news. So I would like to ask you what piece of news was most exciting, inspiring for you, didn't leave you indifferent. We had a break of at least 3 or 4 weeks and quite a lot of news, good news. Well, all of them were good. Okay. Inspiring news has been published since in the area of the string transportation technology. So tell me which one you liked best. Please share your feedback in the chat. Alexander says official launch of the Aquarel project. Greg says, undoubtedly, the opening of the Unilite complex in Belarus. Well, guys, you have been active during our roll call, so please be as active in answering my questions or my requests. Someone says, undoubtedly, the opening of the Unilite project in Belarus. Suraj says, the first commercial project. Alexander says, Aquarel project. Well, guys, be more active. It's, after all, news that pertain to all of us. We have already 150 people here. That's good. I noticed that when we make longer breaks between the meetings, then we have more people on the next meeting. Someone says, please give us the entire list of news. Okay. So, delegation from Hong Kong, lots of foreign guests. This is the feedback from Kirill. Launch of the commercial project. So based on your answers, I can see that 90% of people were inspired by the launch of the first commercial project. And this news will be covered separately closer to the end of the meeting. And this was the piece of news that I wanted to focus on. It's very important. But let's follow the advice of one of our partners who said, give us the entire list of news. So let's do a small short coverage overview of the most significant news that has happened over the last recent months and on the doorstep of the year 2025. So let me share the screen for you, and together we will take a look at the news. Can you see my screen? Please tell me if you can. Let me see the chat. Yes, I see that you can see. Good. Then we had a meeting on the 23rd of November. Well, basically a month ago, we've discussed news about the high-speed transportation, which was a video by Dr. Unitsky dedicated to this particular project. I will give you a few pieces of news about it as well, about this particular project. Let me note it down in order not to forget. Okay, so what has happened ever since? So as many of you has written, there have been delegations visiting our R&D center in Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, and also on a separate note, Gabon, Zimbabwe. Next, what next? What are the countries? 3 delegations that came to visit the R&D center. Are very it's a very important sign. It's very important to note that the African continent is showing interest in implementing commercial projects on their continent, and many people who underestimated the African continent in the past are now changing their minds. They thought that the African continent is a continent with countries with weak economy, but things have changed in the last 10, 20 years. The countries in Africa are dynamically developing, and another proof of that is that throughout the year, more than 10 delegations have been from the African continent. And the countries that I've just mentioned is a direct proof of that. The African continent is a very big continent, and the potential for the implementation of the train transportation technology and the commercial projects is quite big. And another thing that I wanted to add, that for us it's a good message telling us that the pool of commercial projects is growing. There is dynamic development that can be noticed. And one more delegation I wanted to mention is a delegation from the Saudi Arabia, a very important country on the peninsula. It's one of the biggest economies in the region and in the entire world. They have a huge GDP in the country, in the world, in the country, and the potential for implementing commercial projects in that region, that country, is huge as well. You probably know that in Saudi Arabia, they have a lot of innovations. That country has almost no equal in terms of implementing new technologies, on par with the United Arab Emirates, and somewhere even surpasses it. So all those factors are telling us that the technology of string transportation is not has been proven viable, but even went beyond that. So when high-ranking officials come and visit the R&D center, I take it for granted already. When ministers of transportation or heads of big companies and corporations and big municipalities are showing interest in the string transportation technology, for me personally, again, I take it as a given, for granted. Previously, like 5, 7 years ago, when a delegation was on a visit, for us it was a wow news. Look, this delegation showed interest, this country showed interest. And 5 years ago, we took it as something out of the ordinary. Today, it's like business as usual for us. For example, the news such as launch of the commercial project, that is still a wow effect, wow piece of news. And I'm sharing here my emotions, of course. Probably some of you will have a different perception of that news or a different way you see it. So, but when I tell my family that when my family tells me, look, Maxim, it's a business as usual already. And when they tell me that, then I realize that the technology has been proven its viability. And I see that it's evolving, it's developing, and the potential is growing every single week. So this is my personal perception and feelings from that. So tell me what how you feel about it in the chat. Of course, every piece of news is exciting and inspiring. But for me, it's already a sign of stability and viability of the technology. Very nice. I see VJ wrote, Alexander says, I share your same feelings. Well, thank you. Alexander, without the last name, wrote, the dynamics is growing. Yes, that's what I've noticed in the year 2024. That the dynamic is growing like exponentially, like, you know, a snowball effect. More and more interest is being shown from different countries at different levels. Like different governmental levels and business levels, and that level is growing. And someone has written, "Boom, boom, you sky." And the first way I read it in my head is, you know, skyway. But no, again, you sky. That's the correct terminology. And thank you very much, user, for using the correct terminology. And I guess boom boom is something like positive, right? That's at least the way I take it. Elena says, finally it's done. Well done, especially Anatoly Unitsky. I'm looking forward to the time when I can take my first ride and can finally monetize the project. Yes, I agree with you. Any other feedback, ideas, feelings? We have like 170 people and we have only like a handful of feedbacks. So, guys, be more proactive, more involved, more interactive. Now, Greg is saying that the only issue left is the issue of passenger capacity. You're talking about the Aquarel commercial project, Russ, right? We will discuss it later about the passenger capacity. So right now, guys, please do not ask your questions because we will have 15, 20 minutes dedicated to questions at the end of the meeting. And that's when I'm going to take your questions, okay? So right now, please share your opinions. Do you have any other, does anyone else want to share their feelings and emotions they get after hearing the news or reading the news? Only positive emotions. Good. Well, you can still keep sharing your feedback, and meanwhile, I will move on to the most significant piece of news. In my opinion, it's one of the biggest news of the year 2024. That's why we're going to dwell on it. Ludmila says, I feel overwhelming. And I feel that we're going to be all quite wealthy, that wealth is inevitable. And someone says, finally, I didn't miss. Well, we didn't miss. Not a single person here has missed with choosing the right project. And I was right about it. And I felt right about it in the year 2014 because by then I already read the biography of Dr. Yunitsky, the journey he has taken, and him asking us to support the sector forming project. I really felt it. I understood what it meant when we joined the project back then. The technology in 2014 became investors, co-owners. Many of us understood, well, at least I'm trying to recall my feelings, emotions, and analysis that I performed back then. I just realized that in 200 years, there haven't been any major changes in the sector of transportation, no innovations. And this is one of the few sectors in human life that hasn't really changed, hasn't seen any big time innovations or dynamic big leaps forward. In the finance, we saw changes. It was fiat money, then electronic, and now digital money. Then starting from like 90s, we started widely using bank cards. Now we can use digital cryptocurrency. In communications, there has been a wild leap compared to 1980s, for example, until now. We have computers, mobile connectivity, the internet, so everything related to communication and interaction, social human interaction, and information exchange. That's the correct word for it. We can talk to each other and see each other thousands kilometers apart, and yet we can exchange information in a matter of a couple of seconds. Here's your leap, quantum leap. In transportation, nothing has really changed. Well, I mean, we came up with an airplane 100 years ago, but nothing really like changed. We moved from point A to point B by air, by land, probably faster, but that's it. Trains also have been were invented like a couple of hundred years ago, but they still move on the same rails. Same like technology, same mechanics. What else in the transportation sector? Well, sea traveling, I guess that hasn't changed. Submarine um, vehicles, yeah, they were the same, have been the same. But as far as the safe, high-speed traveling, environmentally friendly traveling, we haven't seen anything like that. And the string transportation technology appeared right in the nick of time. In 2014, we heard about it, and now going back to our partner's words, I'm glad I haven't missed. Yes, none of us have missed. The technology has proven viable, and now we are all witnessing that the string transportation technology is now viable both in terms of commerce and investments that will bring return to people who invested, bring returns to people who invested into it, and that the payback day or the payday is not far off. As Ludmila put it, like, I feel that wealth is inevitable. Because if we compare innovations in the area of innovation, communication, and finance, people who invested into those projects at the beginning, who invested into Apple, Google, those who invested in crypto at an early stage, you know what kind of money they have right now, those people, right? So we are not very much different from people who invested early in the area of finance and communication. Now we are riding that same wave, but in the transportation sector. So we are part of the process of creation of the innovative technology, basically the sector forming project. So friends, I'm overwhelmed by the fact, but that we have finally waited long enough and now can see the first project being commercial project being implemented, and then I'm looking forward to seeing the number of those projects growing bigger and bigger. So this will be some kind of a transition period that will affect the scale of the implementation of the technology. We had a break point in 2015, 2016, where the first tracks were put into operation, when the first rolling stocks were tested, when they're showcased to the world, and so on. So that was the first break point, or the pivotal point for many. Now, the pivotal point for us is that today we can see that the string transportation technology is taking shape in the form of a commercial project. And this is what's happening, and it's quite logical that the first commercial project should have been implemented in the territory of Aquarel. Why logical? Because the Aquarel Eco Park is on the farmstead, and Dr. Initsky said it's owned by Dr. Initsky, and Dr. Initsky would say, usually says that if I don't build this technology on my own territory, on my own premises, then I would be a cobbler whose children don't have shoes, right? So, and it's an elegant way of delivering people from point A to point B. And do we have any guests, partners here who visited that particular eco park? Probably you already saw the first commercial project being prepared. Do we have such people here? Grigori says that we all understand the prestige nature of that place and the prestige of the entire country, Belarus. Of course, it elevates the prestige, and it is a significant event, the launch of the first commercial project. So do we have anyone here who was actually there? Lilia Yefimova says that she was there. Then another user says, yes, I was there. So we have people who actually visited the territory of Aquarel. You know that it's quite a big territory from the first lake where people go and fish to the end point. It's quite a stretched piece of land. So for people to save time and to travel fast, this is a very good solution. It sets the trend for other potential customers because similar land plots like this one are very numerous across the world. And we had potential customers who wanted to have something like this, some solution similar to this one, implemented on their territory to transport their guests, their employees, because they have like dozens of hectares of land. So I wanted to point out how Dr. Unitsky, to quote how Dr. Unitsky commented the launch of this project, being the CEO and the chief engineer and designer. And I would like also to focus on the words on Nadezhda Kosareva, who is the general director of Unitsky String Technologies. So first I will quote Dr. Unitsky. Here's what he said. Today's event can be considered a rehearsal for launching large-scale targeted projects. Soon, we will begin unveiling massive UST transport and infrastructure complexes. This process has started, and it cannot be stopped. Ulight holds tremendous importance in improving the viability of string technologies. For the first time, we are putting a string rail complex into operation, not for testing or showcasing the technology's benefits, but to solve specific business tasks. That's what I was talking about. By implementing Ulight, the engineering company UST has for the first time completed all the stages of a targeted project. So I would like to focus on the stages. Design, A. B. Land allocation. C. Construction. D. Commissioning. E. Compliance with state approvals. F. Expertise, its peer review or expert opinion. And then G, certification, and H, operation launch. So Dr. Unitsky pointed out 8, but I think there are more than that. And many partners are asking why commercial projects haven't been yet implemented, although we already have potential customers and down payments have been made. You see how many very important and large scope stages are involved in a project implementation. You see, between the design and operation launch, there are a lot of intermediate stages or variables that are not always within the company's control or even the client's control, because land allocation is the domain of the government structures or authorities. For example, compliance procedures, also a completely different story, completely different process, getting the approval from the local authorities or central authorities. And sometimes it does not really depend on the customer or the contractor. So very often the implementation depends on those particular stages and can take a lot of time to get the approval. And although the project might be a small-scale project, I mean, not a very long track, in this particular case, it took a couple of years because, again, it is not a simple process. But again, when you have the funding, when you have everything set up and the local authorities are favorably looking on your project, then the construction process can take way less time, like a year. So what else he said? We have created a groundbreaking industry-forming technology and brought it to life. It was a challenging and lengthy journey, years of effort. We solved engineering tasks some people deemed impossible and overcame strong external pressures, skepticism, and the conservatism that all pioneers inevitably face. But again, he hit the nail on the head, and this is exactly what we've experienced, what we've witnessed. Dr. Yunitsky being an engineer in the not just this project, but the entire technology, which is the groundbreaking, innovative technology. Skepticism. For 40 years, Dr. Yunitsky has faced skepticism and conservatism of opinions. This is inevitable, but knowing the persistence and doggedness of Dr. Yunitsky's character, those were the traits that facilitated the success. And we also share those traits, because if we are all here, it means that we're also persistent and dogged and will follow our path. I will continue the quotation, the quote. Every challenge strengthened our resolve and spirit to achieve our goal. They told us it was technically impossible. They tried to convince us we would fail. We even received threats repeatedly. It happened on numerous occasions, but we did not stop. We did not give in to fear, and we proved them wrong every time, and we made it. Today, UST transport and infrastructure technology has reached commercialization. Congratulations to all of you, to all of us on that. And there is a comment from General Director of Yunitsky String Technologies, Nadezhda Kosareva. It is a very important thing too, and I will like to emphasize it. She said, Ulight will enhance the appeal of Aquarel Eco Park. I'm confident that the string rail complex will make Aquarel an even more popular destination and attract more visitors. For our country, the launch of Ulight marks the implementation of advanced technology. Here, the complex showcases new opportunities for developing the tourism sector. Ulight can be used without harming nature in parks and reserves, over rivers and lakes. The track of such a complex can be laid where it previously considered impossible. On a global scale, today's event is a step forward toward the right future, one that is safe, environmentally friendly, and comfortable. I agree with every single word from Dr. Yunitsky and Nadezhda Kosareva. Indeed, the implementation and the launch of the first project in the territory of this eco park is a huge step forward, both in terms of the implementation of the technology itself, so the foundation has been laid, solid foundation. So the implementation of the first commercial project is such foundation. As Greg said, there is a good saying, to believe it, you have to see it. Well, now it's time for customers to start lining up. Yes, this is a real sign that the technology has proven its viability. Again, talking about this particular location, it will increase the passenger capacity. Someone mentioned the passenger capacity in the chat, don't remember who. So in addition to, so let me start over. Before the commercial project was launched, Ulight project, before that time, a lot of people on a regular basis showed interest in that place. Dozens of thousands of people who came and stayed in this park, because the concept of this place, the idea is that it's an environmentally friendly, clean area where people can rest in harmony with the nature and enjoy the fruit of the land, because in the territory of that particular complex, a lot of products are grown, like vegetables and fruit, using humus, which is the fertile soil developed by Dr. Unitsky. So the combination of the eco-park technology and the transportation technology shows the viability of a environmentally friendly world. So what I'm driving at here is that before the Ulight project was launched, there have already been quite a lot of people there who wanted to go there, rest there, um, do like nature activities, related activities. And now with that commercial project added, it will increase the number of visitors. It's a very good precedent for similar customers who have similar land plots or like agro-touristical locations. It's a good example showcasing how it can be at their location. But if we take a look at it from a different perspective, deeper perspective, when such a complex is used on any territory, then potentially for the city where this territory is, to connect the complex with the nearby town or city, to extend the track. You see? So even from this perspective, a small-scale project can set or can become the beginning for a huge network of string transportation tracks. So again, a small seed can give birth to something big. So I hope you understand the metaphor. So we should not underestimate the importance of this project. Some partners I saw said that it's a small-time project. It's more like an attraction. No, this is not far from being like an attraction or an amusement thing. Again, this is a full-scale transportation solution that addresses the needs of the customer and of that particular location. This is a fully fledged first commercial project, and it is very important that Dr. Unitsky implemented it on the territory adjacent to the Eco Park, Technopark, because Dr. Unitsky is not a person who can be called a cobbler whose children have no shoes. So he's not just an engineer who created the technology, certified it, and then brought it into the market, but also he was the first to show how this project or this technology is implemented in real life, his brainchild. And I would like also to quote Ida Demenskaya, the Eco Park manager. She gave a very interesting commentary. When choosing an excursion tour system for Aquarel Eco Park, we primarily focused on eco-friendliness, aiming to preserve the natural landscape and protect the ecosystem. The solution provided by UST was the only one that fully met our requirements. Without a doubt, the Ulight complex has become one of the Eco Park's main attractions. And this is not just an attraction of the Eco Techno Park, but of the entire country where that complex is located. And it's again a very good precedent for other countries. Believe me, the countries that will start first implementing the string transportation technology on their territory will save quite a lot of money. And also it's a huge potential for tourism, business development. And it will be a huge leap forward for those countries once they will have the first commercial project implemented. It can be Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, it can be a European country, it can be South America, North America, doesn't matter. Those countries that will be the first to implement such projects will feel a huge social economical effect. And the United States is a very good example of that. When there was a boom for the railroad construction, that's what helped America get out of the crisis. There's a very good movie, Men Who Built America. So I recommend you watch it. That movie shows all the innovations of the past and the previous century, like railroad, car building, and Henry Ford, Rockefeller with like oil production, etc. So please take a look and see why the United States became the country they are. So road connectivity, car connectivity, and railroad industry brought America out of the crisis the first time and the second time. So I strongly recommend you watch the movie. It's like a documentary feature movie. So it shows very good how transportation gives a huge economic boost to the potential of the country. That's why I'm giving this example. Someone is asking for the title of the movie. It's called Men Who Built America. The Men Who Built America. And again, this is yet another sign for people that those who are the early investors in such projects will have very, very good returns. And I know people who are here know that. And also now we need the first clients to understand the potential. And I'm sure it's not far off. So what else I wanted to tell you about in relation to this particular news? Just give me a second, please. Well, the first sentence by Dr. Nitsky when he said that today's event can be considered a rehearsal for launching large-scale targeted projects. When I read this news and I saw that first sentence, I received this kind of an inner peace that yes, it's going to happen. I have no doubt about it because all facts are pointing towards that. At the beginning of our meeting, remember, we mentioned the dynamics and growing interest from different countries in the string transportation technology, and we already take it for granted. And the time will come when we will read news about one project being launched in one country, then another project in another country, and for us it will be business as usual. And Dr. Initsky's words that it's a rehearsal, well, they actually ring true because we know how it goes. If we go back to the year 2023, 2024, we know from those like events that happened that there are quite a lot of projects scattered across the world. But again, I repeat myself, those projects, the number is growing, growing, and growing. And there will be a moment, then there will be a boom. Someone wrote, boom, boom, you sky. And that's what's going to happen, a boom in the implementation of commercial projects. And those things should deal with our doubts or questions about dividends. Because dividends is a very regular, frequent question asked in our Telegram chat. Guys, look. So let's take the timeline. Take a look at the timeline of things happened from December 2023 when Dr. Nitsky first mentioned the information about the potential dividends. That news of December 2023, a year ago, many people did not interpret that news correctly. And then in the chat, we had two partners who argued between themselves. Well, I'm gradually transitioning to one point to another. You will understand the connection. One partner wrote, when are we going to have dividends? Another partner answered that in 2025. A third partner comments on that. In 2025, there won't be dividends because in the video that Dr. Nitsky published in 2023, he said that let me rephrase it, that by 2025, there will be a financial legal framework created to pay dividends. Another partner answered, no, Unitsky said that dividends would be paid in 2025. And you see, a lot of people have different opinions. So what I'm driving at here, so let's take a look at the timeline of events from December 2023 until today and see whether everything is going according to the plan mentioned by Dr. Nitsky in December 2023 and how it relates to the launch of this particular commercial project and absence of doubts that dividends will be paid and not far off in the future. So let's kind of deal with this question once and for all, when dividends will be paid, if paid. So in December 2023, in the final report video, Dr. Unitsky mentioned that the parent company, Global Transport Investments, is planning to create a financial legal mechanism framework to pay remuneration to people for being pre-IPO shareholders in the company. In other words, a financial legal mechanism will be created. Next. Half a year ago, give or take, a declaration of potential dividends was published from Global Transport Investments, and we are co-owners of that company. In that declaration, there was a mechanism described according to which dividends will be paid. I'm not going to dwell on that particular document because there has been a whole meeting dedicated to it where I give a very detailed description and a breakdown of all the mechanisms. So you can go to the YouTube channel, find the meeting and watch it and get all the information you need. So going back to the timeline, 2023, the first mention of the financial legal framework for paying remuneration. And it was also stated that in 2024, there will be a big stream of commercial projects, and we can all observe it right now. The number of customers has increased from different countries and regions and continents, and this year ends with the launch of the first commercial project. Next, friends. Today is December 2024, and I have a question. Should we be waiting for dividends in 2025? I don't think so, because for dividends to be paid, the proportion should be kept, the one that was mentioned in the declaration, that the company needs to receive revenues in a certain proportion to its costs. And then when all the costs are deducted, part of the net profit should be paid out as dividends to the shareholders. But for that, a certain amount of revenues should be achieved, and then cost should be covered, etc. So everything in its own time. So the first commercial project means that the journey has started already. One more thing I forgot to mention. Some partners wrote in the chat that we are co-owners of the project or not. Well, friends, we're not co-owners of the project. We are co-owners of the technology. And this technology was ordered by a private company called Aquarel Eco Park. And they ordered that project from the engineering company, and money was paid for that, for the design, for the feasibility study, etc., etc. Then the company, the engineering company, received certain money, payment or revenues, and we are because the technology was ordered. We are co-owners of the technology. And this is what monetizes the technology. This is what forms the revenue part, the revenue side of the balance sheet of the parent company. And this is the money that counts toward the payout of remuneration of dividends. And once the company starts making net profit, when there are more projects, more revenues coming company's way, and at that stage we can count on being paid dividends or remuneration when the company can afford paying such dividends or sharing profits. But what I want you to remember that we should not doubt that it will happen. It will. Whether it will happen in 25, 26, or 27 doesn't matter. It's going to happen. That's what matters. Because some of us probably thought that the technology would be implemented on a different scale. Like some of you will never probably have thought that there will be 20 different types of rolling stocks and tracks. I thought there would be only 3 tracks in 2014, like urban, cargo transportation, and several types of rolling stocks. That's it. I didn't realize there would be such a huge range, selection of different solutions for different clients to meet different needs, like 2-passenger, 48-seat cars, etc. So really, I was very pleasantly surprised seeing the birth of different rolling stocks every year. And it was a very wise decision because every customer has every different needs, and then you have to tailor to those needs. So back then, we did not count or rely on the company having such a variety of rolling stocks and solution, and yet he delivered. And now, talking about the dividend payouts, etc., the foundation has been laid for this. And this pool of customers in the pipeline is the foundation for the payout of dividends. And remember, I told you that very soon we're going to have every week, news published about the launch of yet another commercial project and then another commercial project, because right now the design work is being conducted, everything related to the engineering. And then gradually construction work will start. And this is my personal opinion. I would like to emphasize it, but it will happen like one after another, one, then this, another one, then another one. And it's going to happen in series. And we need to understand that the foundation has been laid already. And we shouldn't have even a little shroud of doubt that it's going to happen. Like Dr. Nitsky said, the rehearsal for launching large-scale targeted projects has happened. Yes, and now our task is to be as useful to the technology as possible in the meanwhile, while the commercialization is happening. How we can support it? By being loyal and being and interpreting correctly what's happening, supporting with our investments, and by attracting new investors into the process, into the project, because we don't want them to miss out on it, because there is still an opportunity to join this project and become co-owners of the technology. And the discounts are still very, very sweet, because some people might think that it's too late already to become an investor into the string transportation technology. Previously, it was 600, 800, 1,000 discount back then, but it was way more riskier back then. But even now, we have discounts that allow you to make several X's on your investments. It's already quite a sweet deal. You can increase your investment amount several dozen times. It's still a very attractive opportunity. And now, at the end of the year, tomorrow, we're going to have a special New Year offer with the biggest discount in the recent time, which is 88. The standard discount in that promo will be 70, but the biggest discount will be 88. Tomorrow, you're going to have an investment offer, either for yourselves or for your acquaintances and friends who haven't yet supported the technology. You will see a range from 70 to 88 discount. So basically, this is a possibility to multiply your investment amount by the factor of 70 or 88. And over dozens of years, it can become hundreds of X's. So it is not yet too late to invest into the technology. So please follow the news. Tomorrow, there will be news published when this sweet offer is going to become available, and it will be available until the end of December this year. And with your investments or your active actions in crowdfunding, crowd investing, you can support the technology. All of us can support the technology, because the commercial dimension is one thing, but engineering and innovative dimension that is taken care of by Dr. Initsky is a separate dimension. And this innovative direction aims to improve the technology. Dr. Initsky regularly develops new solutions for potential customers. This is what funding is used for. Yes, the company has already reached its break-even point thanks to the customers they have right now. But it's not enough, of course. You still need to have the team of engineers. You still need to do innovative activities. So this is very important to understand that commercial area direction is one thing, but crowd investing is a different kind of thing. And this is something that the innovation in the string transportation technology based on. I hope everyone understands what I'm talking about. So please give me your feedback. We have 180 people here, at least 182, 181. Okay, I see that everyone says they understand. Good. What I recommend is we have 12 days, 11 days left until the end of the year, starting tomorrow. Please take advantage of this opportunity that you're going to have, because the discounts that will be offered will be 2 or 3 times bigger than the current discounts. The current discount is 23, 30. You see the difference depending on the size of the package. So the discounts there are not that high, like 70 or 80. So right now you will have an exclusive offer. This is A. And B, it can be your personal offer. You can average the price, per share price in your portfolio, because probably you purchased a package a couple of months ago at a different discount, for example, at 20. If you bought a package at 20 and today you buy the same package with a discount of 80, then you will level it out, average, and your per share price will be around like 50 or 45. So basically, that's what I'm talking about, mean by averaging your investments. Right now is the time for you to work with your contact list, with people who might be on the fence, who might have been observing the project but haven't made up their mind to become an investor. Just share with them the news that a new offer is in place, that the commercial project ever first in the history was implemented, and in the near future dozens and dozens similar projects will be implemented. Tell them that they shouldn't miss this opportunity, because now the risks are way fewer than we faced in 2014. In 2014, we invested having nothing. There were only like some failed attempts to implement the technology from Dr. Unitsky, his partners who didn't play fair, the lack of understanding from the governmental authorities, etc. But once Dr. Unitsky took the matters in his own hands, without relying on the governmental support, without relying on the major investors' support, once he took the matters into his own hands, that's where he succeeded. But we believed his word, and we took a lot of risks, assumed a lot of risks, because we didn't know whether the technology would prove viable or not. And now, many years later, we see the implementation of the first ever commercial project. We see that the engineering company has become an R&D institute. This is a very prestigious status, only given to governmental agencies, and it's a rare occasion when a private entity gets such a status of an R&D institute. So right now, the risks for potential investors are dozens of times smaller. The company and the technology has become viable, and now the only thing left is scaling up. And people who were observing from the sidelines, now it's a very good time for them to take advantage of that sweet offer, sweet discounts, and join the technology and become the co-owners of that company, of that intellectual property, because the potential of the string transportation technology and the capitalization of this technology is valued at hundreds of billions or even trillions of dollars. And I'm not exaggerating, it's very simple math. If you take the potential of the implementation in different countries, regions, and continents, we're talking about thousands of tracks, of kilometers of tracks, with the real sector of economy behind them. So we just need to understand that this capitalization is valued at hundreds of billions of dollars. Add here the valuation of the intellectual property, of the know-how, and add here other things, components that add to the value of the project, because the stations that will be built across or in the tracks, it's like retail points, selling points, etc., etc. So again, the potential here for capitalization is huge, and time flies by. Like literally yesterday, it seems to me, I made my first investment, and it has already been 10 years ago. So I strongly recommend not to ignore what you're going to be offered from the 20th to the 23rd of December. That sweet, sweet deal. Just remember, people whom you talked about it and they didn't believe, just don't be lazy. Work on it for the benefit of yourselves and for your friends' benefit, because for you it's good commission from the sale of the package, and for your clients, for your friends, it's a good investment opportunity. They will be thankful to you. They will thank you for convincing them not to miss out on the opportunity that happens, I'm not exaggerating, once in a century. That's how often or rarely a true innovation is born. And today we saw ourselves that we didn't miss, that we made the right choice. As Ludmila said, back then I didn't have any doubts, my gut feeling was right. And now we have like hundreds of thousands of people who trusted their gut feeling. Unfortunately, not everyone understands the scale, not everyone understands about the significance of this project, because lots of people are not happy, asking questions about dividends. People are kind of lazy and don't want to look for the information themselves or watch the recordings of the meetings or read the news, because things that I'm saying can be also derived by logical thinking, by using our brains instead of starting discussions and arguments in the chat regarding the dividends. You just take facts, compare, take the history of the project, take the biography of Dr. Unitsky, see the facts, analyze the facts, and derive a conclusion that yes, this is going to happen. It's already here, and it's here for good. And the potential is huge. Regarding the United States, some partners were asking in the chat, and well, basically, I mentioned the United States as well. I will tell you a few words about it. Let me tell you that the work is being actively carried out in the United States. The financial legal structure of launching the hub is being prepared, and that hub will have a whole complex of the string transportation technology with the focus on the high-speed transportation, of course. So how the funding will happen, how the entire financial legal model is going to be created. This is news for 2025. That's what we're going to know about it. But let me tell you now that this project is actively developing. Dr. Nitsky is working hard on this particular project right now because this is the next step. This is the next stage to showcase the high-speed transportation using string technology. So basically, the goal here is to develop the speed of 500 kilometers an hour per hour, which is quite a financially intensive process. So in 2025, quite a lot of different news is in store for us. Quite a lot of work is in store for us as well. And during our next meeting that we're going to have in 1 week, it will happen on the 26th of December. We will talk about our plans for 2025 regarding the work of our platform. I will tell you how we're going to launch this platform stage by stage, because we had a certain break in the implementation due to technicalities. We're talking about the security, our own security, the security of the database of clients. So in order to have it work correctly and synchronize correctly, we had to make sure that it works. And that's why we took a break. And that's why that's what the IT specialists were working on, to make sure everything is safe and secure. I mentioned that in December we're going to have a test registrations, but we had to push it back a little bit, but it's okay. Nothing to worry about. It's absolutely normal for delays to happen. Not everything always going according to plan, but we stick to the we stick to our guns, to our schedule. So do not miss out on the next meeting that we're going to have in 1 week. And then we're going to have the end of the year meeting for year 2024 that we will have on the 28th of December. We're going to draw the conclusions for 2024. We will take a look at the most significant news events happening in 2024, and we'll, I guess, by then have a couple of more pieces of news. I have already some of them in store for you, and I will cover that news at that meeting for you. Well, for now, I'm out of the previously planned information for you. You can ask me a couple of questions, and then we can call it a day. And while you're asking a question, I can recap a little bit here. So we saw the implementation of the first commercial project and its launch. This is a very significant a milestone for all of us, because it might be the beginning of a series of bigger projects in 2025, 2026. Svetlana, sorry for diverting. Svetlana says, should we wait for another 10 years? Come on, I already answered your question today during today's meeting. So Svetlana, probably you will have to wait for 125 years. I'm sorry for being rough, but I don't know how else I should frame it, that you should not like use years in your questions or put it into years. Just compare the facts, take a look at the history, watch the previous meetings, and you will deduct the answer yourselves. Well, going back to my recap, so we saw that the launch of the first commercial project is one of the biggest news of the year because it shows quite a lot of prospects for other projects in the coming year. So we compared this project we connected this project to the potential payouts of remuneration in the future, when it might happen. And then another thing that relates to every investor is the launch of the promo that is going to happen tomorrow and will last from tomorrow until the 31st of December. So the promo will consist of two parts. First, it's increased discount. And the second one relates to the investors who purchased packages in installments. So if the December is not the last year for you, the last months for you, but yet you terminate your installment by the end of the year, you will get plus 10% to your original package. I hope you understand that. Okay? So if you finish paying your installments by the end of the year, you will get plus 10% bonus to your original package. I think it's a very sweet deal. It's a very good addition to your portfolio. We will have installments, we will have packages to buy as a one-off purchase or in installments, don't worry. Again, let me tell you, if you are going to pay it in one go, you will also get a plus 10% bonus to your package. So for $1,000 package, there will be a discount of 70. For 2,500, it will be 75 discount. For $5,000, it will be 80 discount. But then if you pay for any of those packages in one go, you will get plus 10%. So a package for 5,000, if you pay for it in one go, so you get, do your own math, 880 plus 10%, which is 8, you get 88 discount. It's kind of potentially X 88 times 88. It's a very sweet deal in my opinion, so don't miss out on it. Start calling your potential clients, investors, people you know who shouldn't miss on that opportunity either. Okay, let me take a couple of questions that I haven't answered yet. Will there be buyout of shares, of pre-IPO shares? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I read about it anywhere. I don't know where this question is coming from. I don't have this information. I didn't read any kind of news about it. Will the dividends be paid on an annual basis or depending on the received net profit? Well, I cannot answer you this question for now, because if we take the two news published by the company about it, the first news mentioned the creation of the financial legal framework, which is one of the points in your question, whether it's going to be on an annual basis or quarterly basis, on a different basis. For now, we don't know. We don't have any precise information about it. And the second news was about the criteria that should be met for the company to start sharing profits. So once those criteria are met, that's when we should start asking questions how it's going to happen. So for now, it's too early to answer your question. Next. Give me a second. There's a comment. believe me, what Dr. Initsky promised will be delivered. So our dividends are not very far away. I fully agree with your words that Dr. Initsky always delivers on his promises, on his word, which makes him different from many other people working in the investment area field. He always delivers his promises. Even if there are some external factors that prevent him from doing that, the company always highlights it, and Dr. Initsky always takes into account saying that, yes, if there are force majeure circumstances, you have to try and overcome it, but they never go back on their word. He over-delivers sometimes, and we all witnessed that ourselves. So regarding the promo, I already mentioned it. There was the question somewhere, just give me a second. Partners are asking about the back office where you purchased the packages, the platform that allowed you to become co-owners. Some of you purchased your packages in Swig, and Swig, their website is down right now. The servers have been down and you cannot access the website. So this is not the problem on our side, on the problem of our platform, but if you have a registry extract, then you can use the same email that you used in Swig. You can use it and recover your access to your pre-IPO shares. If you have questions, write to the support and our personnel will help you how they can with your request, with your situation. Someone is asking when remuneration will be paid in 2025 and in what size, asked by Raushan. Raushan, honestly, I don't know what to tell you. I kind of covered it already 25 times over, and you still ask this kind of questions. Either you weren't listening to me, or don't understand me, or probably both. So regarding the Micron Global, I will give you news during our next meeting on Thursday, same time, on the 23rd of December. We will talk about the news related to our platform. Dmitry is asking, Maxim, please tell me, if you purchase a package with 600 discount, will I get a 10% bonus? Well, no, because the 600 discount that was available a couple of years ago had different conditions attached to it. It's only 10% bonus applies only to the current packages of $1,000, $2,500, $5,000. This is a completely different offer with a completely different discount. So it doesn't apply. So friends, do we have any other questions? We have 4 minutes left. I can take 1 or 2 questions and then we can wrap it up. So Svetlana is asking how to have your people back in RSW platform. So Svetlana, write to me directly and I will help you with your question, okay? We have a question in English here. Let me have it translated first. In India, most of the salary comes after 1 to 2 days, 10 days. It is better if you keep this in mind and extend it by 10 days. Well, we're not talking about extensions right now, okay? Let's work hard for the next like 12 days and then we'll talk about extensions, okay? Let's not jump the gun here. I'm not promising anything, but I'm not excluding this opportunity. It's not impossible. But do not really rely on it, okay? So better take the advantage of this opportunity in this year. Someone is asking, Maxim, can I change the conditions for my package if I take an installment plan for $500 for 10 months and not 5 months? Well, the minimum installment plan that we have assumes or implies that you pay $100 per month. But we will talk about your proposal. Maxim, is there any understanding when we should have the final interview, end of the year interview by Dr. Unitsky this year? I think it will happen after the 25th of December, but I cannot be sure. If for the last year anything to go by, let's take a look on what date well, there you can see when it was published, but not when he recorded the interview. But let me still take a look. The end of the year interview by Dr. Unitsky, I don't think there will be any date there. What it tells me only the months, not the date. Oh no, it tells me the date. It's the 28th of December. That's when it was published last year. So probably somewhere, yes, if last year anything to go by, then it will be around that day this year as well. So 28th of December, probably. Okay, friends, we have run out of time. It's 7:30 where I live. For some of you, it's 6:30. For some of you, it's 5:30. For our Indian partners, it's already like 10 p.m., I guess. So thank you very much for your time, for your attention. I hope it was useful for you. And thank you for showing interest in the development of the string transportation technology and your active clients of our platform, RSW Systems. I would like, friends, to once again thank you, and do not miss out on the opportunity that you will have starting tomorrow at the end of the year. Work actively for the benefit of the technology, for your own benefit, because for you it's a good commission, for you it's the development of your skills as successful consultants and salespeople. You will need those skills when we start working even more actively in 2025 on our updated, rebranded platform. But more about it during our next meeting in 1 week. And I warmly, kindly invite you to join that meeting, and we will, in the same format, talk for an hour and a half, work hard on the 26th of December at 6 p.m. Central European Time. Thank you very much, dear friends, for today's meeting. I was very glad to see so many people watching us live. There will be dozens times more people watching us on YouTube. Those who are watching us on YouTube, thank you very much also for your attention, for your time that you gave to watching this recording. So see you on the 26th of December, same time, dear friends. So bye-bye, everyone, and have a nice evening.